Hey guys, Drift here. It's been a while since I've made a video. Been really busy with a lot of personal things, but today we're going to be doing a quick video on my finally completed AK project. This is my Alpha AK build based on an LCT AK-104. So, first off I'm going to start from the externals and then move on to some of the externals. We're going to move from front to back. So at the front we have the LCT 4-piece flash hider made of steel by LCT. This one I found at a local shop. I couldn't find this online overseas actually, which was kind of strange, but I did look at other muzzle brakes and flash hiders as well for the gun, but nothing fit as well as the 4-piece flash hider, so that's why I went with this one. It is a little heavy, so it does add a little bit of weight up front, but nothing a few trips to the gym won't fix. Moving back, we have we have some accessories here. I have a Magpul RVG grip here, as well as a Surefire clone and a PEC 15 clone. This is functional. They're decent products. But the key thing here is the front rail, and it is very important to the Alpha build. Specifically, the Zenit B30 and B31c rail. The B30 is actually the lower rail, and the B31c is the upper rail. I'm going to remove some of these so you can actually see the rail clearly. So for this build, I specifically chose the 31c because I like the look better. The 31 is actually a longer rail up top. It doesn't have this cutout right here for shorter barrel lengths. This is basically for a cutout for a front sight if your AK happens to have a sight that sits a little more further to the rear. But this is the rail that the one that Larry Vickers has, which is why I went with this one. It was really difficult to find one that I liked because there are a couple companies that do make Zenit products. This one in particular is a TWI rail. It is pretty good, but you have to be careful of some of their products. They are somewhat off spec, especially the B10 and B19. Do not buy that. I know for sure the B21 and the B30 and B31c are okay because, you know, I have one here. This rail costs about 140 USD, I think, which at the time was still a 1-to-1 when I got it, I think. Or maybe it wasn't, maybe it was like 125, 1.25 or something, I forgot the conversion rate, but it's still a pretty pricey rail, but I think it's well worth the purchase for this build. Some of the brands you do want to avoid though for Zenit products is like Zenime, especially for the B30, because the B30, well, the TWI one I have here is one piece. You can see here, it is completely one piece, whereas the one by ZOT and Zenime are two pieces. They're actually two pieces of aluminum and they're sort of welded together, which sometimes comes out crooked. So you don't want to buy that one. So your choices are either TWI or Asura Dynamics, which is also a pretty decent company. Moving to the rear, I have the Asura Dynamics top rail cover. Now this has just been newly released. I picked it up. It did require a little bit of finicking to get it to fit. I'll go over that in another video, but I did eventually get it to fit, and I'm pretty happy with the product. The only downside I feel is the little gap at the back. You can see that here, because this top rail is designed basically for GBB, but it just so happens to fit AG as well. If you compare the two top covers of an AEG and GBB, like the LCT and GHK, for example, you'll see that for the GHK, the back wall here is actually shorter, whereas the AEG one is slightly longer, which is why there's a gap here. So, the charging handle knob is the Asura Dynamics. This one is I forgot what this one is, the P something, it's not the PT one, but it's P something. Charging handle. It's just a knob. I did have to modify this because I do have an older charging handle for this AK, and I did have to modify it to fit. The newer ones, the the charging handle, like the LCT charging handle, should be a little thinner, so it should just slide on. Moving on, I have the Hephaestus AK magwell adapter, which is not necessary for an Alpha AK build, but I figured that this gives it a little bit of a unique look. As you can see, it looks pretty cool. I've got the PTS US Palm pistol grip, which is probably one of the best grips out there for the AK. Either this or like a PP19 grip or an AMD 65 grip. Those grips feel very comfy. It did require a couple modifications to get this to fit on this gun. If you file something down, I'll go over that in another video as well. Moving to the rear, I have the Asura Dynamics folding stock adapter. This one was very difficult to find because at the time that I was looking for this, it was already discontinued and they were already making the Gen 2 version. And the Gen 2 is more blocky. It's not as streamlined as this one. Basically, it's like a square rectangle, almost like a block at the back, and it has a QD mount as well. I didn't like the look of that. I really preferred this one, so this was something that I was basically digging for online. Finally found one at Kick BB Gun, but I'm pretty sure they are out of stock now. So if you're looking for a stock adapter, you probably will just have to go for the Gen 2 version. I mean, that one is fine too. I just prefer this than the other one. Another gripe I have about this though is the buffer tube threads. If you don't get the one with the buffer tube, you'll have a little bit of trouble finding the threads for this, but I'll tell you right now which threads fit. You need a VFC AEG buffer tube. I've tried gas gun buffer tubes, real AR buffer tubes, other different AEG buffer tubes, and they don't fit. The one that fits perfectly is the VFC. So this one is the VFC right here. Only downside with the VFC buffer tube is that it is slightly smaller in diameter, so it does wobble. All you gotta do to fix that is just a couple layers of electrical tape or something, and no wobble. So, good to go. Moving on, the internals. This one has been fully built from the ground up from the factory by Magicbox. So it actually does have a seal here. It also came with some documentation about who made it, gunsmith signature, as well as the FPS tests for this, I believe is this thing here. So this is what came with my gun. I don't know where you can actually get this, but I got this from a local shop here. And yeah, there's even a stamp, the gunsmith stamp, excuse me. So pretty interesting. Yeah, and that's the FPS right there. But I don't know what I did to it, but I changed out the bucking and stuff like that, barrel, and I had to, change the way that the gun was put together a little bit. Before there was when I had this set up, there was no gap here, but I had to shift it forward a little bit just to fit the top cover, and the FPS jumped up to like 459, which is pretty interesting. Not too sure what I did there, but everything from the ground up inside has been modified by Magicbox. So far it sounds really good. Sounds really intimidating, especially with the flash hider here, because it does amplify sound slightly at the at the muzzle end. Hop up wise, still a stock hop up. I do have a Prometheus soft rubber in there with a Prometheus Type 4 inner barrel. I'm going to be swapping that out with something else. The rubber is starting to wear in because I've shot the rubber is about maybe 3 to 4 years old, and it is starting to show its age. So I'll be switching that pretty soon. But other than that, that's basically it for this AK build. It took me quite a while to get everything put together. I mean, I had an AK-104 before. This is actually my second one. But I've always wondered how to set it up, because the AK-104, no matter how I set it up, I just didn't really like the look. My first one that I had, all I did was I put a gas tube rail on the top, and that was pretty much it, with an aimpoint T1. Even the skeleton stock I had before, you know, stock, everything was stock, just except for the rail and the inner barrel, basically, that's it. I couldn't figure out what I wanted, and then I did see the Alpha AK video back then, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to build it, but it, you know, was kept in the back of my mind. Eventually I decided to pick some stuff up, and over the years I've been able to acquire all the parts that I want for it, and, you know, and it's finally complete. Now with a, you know, upgraded gearbox, so pretty nice. I'm pretty happy with this build. That's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions about it, let me know down in the comments below. If you want to see more videos like this, also let me know. Please like the video and subscribe, and as always, I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.